Hi, it's Jaraz and Jovan with Black Enterprise, and welcome to Inside the Studio. Today, we're going inside season 15 of Bravo's hit reality series, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. The new season comes in hot, according to our guest today, a returning housewife and decorated Olympic gold medalist. Join me in giving a warm welcome to Sanya Richards-Ross. All right, and we are here with Sanya Richards-Ross to dig into season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. You said it comes in hot. I saw the first episode. I'm lying, girl. You were not lying.
I'm telling you, Jocelyn, I felt like we filmed 2 seasons in one. So much happened. And the funny thing was that even when I saw the trailer, like the teaser, I was like, oh, they left a lot of stuff out. Like it's just so much. I just can't wait for people to see it.
Yes, because I'm a Housewives connoisseur, so I'm always involved in all the conversations going on Twitter and Reddit. And from the teaser, like you said, they left a lot out. So there was chatter of, oh, this season, I don't know about this season. And I'm like, hold up now. Don't let it underestimate. Don't let that teaser. The teaser is just letting you know, like, we back. Because if you want, just watching episode 1, I'm locked in.
Yay!
So now, tell what do you think was kind of at the root at it already just kind of coming in? What was the timeline from season 14, wrapping that, picking up season 15? We got some new faces. What is kind of at the root of this tension that we're seeing?
Well, I think what's at the root of what I think is going to be a stronger season is the fact that last season, it was like, there were so many changes, right? Like I was new on the cast. Drew was 2 years in, a lot of shakeups, a lot of the, OGs were, leaving the show. And I just think there was like a lot of like uncertainty. But now I feel like this season, I feel like we're rooted. I feel like, especially for me, I feel like I have skin in the game. I'm developing real friendships. It felt like even though we didn't film for 4 or 5 months, we were still staying connected. I went on vacation with Candy. Marlo and I were hanging out almost every weekend. And so it just made to me for what the show is all about. Richer friendships as we're navigating, figuring out how to be boss women, bomb wives, good friends, all the things, while also building our friendships. And so I think that's why this season, just feels to me like a better season. And I'm like super duper excited about it for the old faces, new faces. I think it's going to be really great.
And how did the sisterhood between you all grow or develop or change?
Yeah. I think for me, it was just time, so like I said, Marlo and I end up really developing a great friendship. Me and Sheree, I go on family vacation with Candy. And then obviously the other ladies, every friendship isn't going to be the same, right? They aren't going to just turn into this blossom into a beautiful flower right away. And so the other friendships, I'm nurturing them and we're, figuring out kind of where they go. But I just feel like this season, there's so much happening in our personal lives. And I think that strengthens our friendships, but also challenges them.
Yeah. And who do you think, in your opinion, will surprise the viewers the most in season 15?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think for different reasons, people will be surprised by a couple people this season. I think that, I think Candy is really surprising this season. A lot happens and I feel like she shows up and she shows out, this season. I think Sheree, with Martell and her business and all the things. So I think for a lot of different reasons, different people, I hope that people will be surprised to learn more about me. Like last season was my first season and nothing prepares you for your first season as a housewife. Okay. You got it's trial by fire. And so, this season, I think you get to learn more about me and my family and the dynamics with the girls. So I think it's a strong season for, everyone all around.
Definitely. How has it been adjusting to life on reality television after building a career in professional sports?
It's been amazing. I think that when I was competing in sports, obviously I was well recognized in New York and overseas and in certain places where people knew track and field athletes, but it's been a complete different audience. And to my story, right? I have so many women come to me and say, oh, thank you for sharing, you know, how hard it is for baby number 2, or obviously it also comes with a lot of criticism, you know, like people have a lot of opinions about, you know, how you should live your life and how you should respond to this person. But the good thing is I feel like I got a lot of practice for that when I was competing, because you got to quiet the noise to be able to perform at your best. And so, you know, I feel like I'm pretty good there, but you know, I've enjoyed it. I really enjoy being a part of this iconic show and iconic cast. And I just, you know, hope to continue to grow with the franchise.
Just in episode 1, we are learning a lot more about you and your family. I was very invested in watching the dynamic between you. One, you guys are living together and working together. We're meeting your sister. And so we're seeing this dynamic and the tension that can come with living and working so closely together. How did you guys navigate that? Now being able to watch it back, how does your family preparing mentally for what's to come? Because you know the fans are going to be talking.
Yes. So I think the one part of the dynamic that we hadn't ever done or prepared for was living together, right? Because we had worked together for the majority of my life, you know, like since I had been professional, my sister had always done my hair. My mom and dad were my managers. And so we were kind of like a family working together. I think, you know, you add on that layer of living together, and it, you know, it started out amazing and we had high hopes for it, but no matter how much you prepare, it is so challenging to have 3 families that really run their households differently under the same roof. And so, yeah, so it comes with a lot of, you know, different challenges for us, but I think ultimately we're such a loving family, and, you know, we're doing this for the right reasons, because we want to see each other win. So ultimately we always come back to a good spot, but baby, every now and then.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I do. It adds a different component to the show, because, you know, a lot of times we do just kind of see the rift between the cast members, maybe between a couple, you know, a husband and wife. But now, you know, you're adding that component of family dynamic, and it's good. That's what makes the show the show. So now, with that being said, what do you think we'll learn about the Ross family after watching season 15?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, you know, in the show in the first place was because I was excited about showing Black love and Black excellence, and also too, like, you know, just people who love life and want to be great, and all the challenges that come with that, you know, because I think people can identify with that. It's like we all want to excel and do great things for our families, but then we have challenges, you know, whether it's like for us, is it time for baby number 2? And will it happen? You know, like, are my parents going to stay in Atlanta now, you know, once they move, or are they going to move away? And what challenges will that present if we're trying to have another child? And my sister, you know, one of the things that she brought up that I thought was really powerful on the show this year is, you know, for so long, our family operated a certain way, right? Like, I was this Olympic star and they were all supporting me. And then things changed, and my sister's goals and desires for her life are a lot different than they were 10 years ago. And I'm having to come to that, you know, to deal with that reality. And what does that look like for me? So I just think there are a lot of conversations that aren't had, a lot of, you know, experiences that people don't often share. But ultimately, I think that it's a beautiful experience that the audience, I hope, will really connect with and be rooting for us as we navigate this next chapter of Ross Richards Gatewood life. You know?
I am rooting for you. It is very relatable. It's very relatable to see. And then you are among now only 2 married couples, well, 3, because we also have Monietta on the show. And the bombshell came after you guys had stopped filming, but then you guys picked up filming again with news of Drew and Ralph's divorce. From just dealing with that, as you know, a lot of you were shocked. You said you had just been with them a few weeks before at the birthday party. How did that news affect, you know, the other relationships that are on the show? Like, did it cause a conversation, or loyalties to Ralph over Drew? Will we get to see that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like you kind of, allude to, it was really heartbreaking for us to hear that news. And like you said, it came on the tail end of filming. We picked up a little bit of it, towards the end of pickups and interviews and stuff. But it's just heartbreaking for the children, right? Like they have 3 beautiful kids, and you just know how far reaching a divorce like this and how much it will impact everyone else. And yes, it does 100%, stir conversation, because no matter what, no matter how sturdy you feel like your foundation is in your marriage, you can't help but when it hits so close to say, okay, like, let's, stop down, let's be intentional about, securing our marriage, because nothing else is more important to me than my family and my husband. And, if everything else got to stop and go bye-bye, that's what's going to have to happen to ensure that, that what we have remains sacred, so it was just hard. And I just feel so bad for Drew and for Ralph. Ross and Ralph still have kept a really great relationship. They were together like last week, which I absolutely love. I've been checking on Drew as much as I can. I saw her last week. We did Family Feud together. But it just becomes really hard and awkward for everyone involved.
Right. And speaking of the trailer, we were talking about it earlier. We did see, you had to remind somebody real quick that you are not chasing clout, because you are the clout. Okay. And that's a read, honey. That is a read. Do you ever feel like the cast and even viewers respect your accolades as a decorated Olympic gold medalist?
The thing about that is, I feel like there have been instances, obviously, on the show where I have said it because I've been asked or whatever, but I don't necessarily lead with that, because it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I know where I stand in track and field history. I know how hard I've worked, and the people that follow the sport and know, and so it's not that important for me that everybody knows, like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to walk around with the medals or like have like a sign on my head, it just is what it is. So at the end of the day, I don't lead with it. So when I have to say it, I say it, because yes, baby, I deserve to be at this table. I have worked hard. I belong right here beside you. But at the end of the day, I know what I've accomplished, and I'm very proud of it. And I don't need to, I don't need anybody else to acknowledge it, because I know what it is.
Exactly. I mean, and you say you're always booked and busy. You travel the world. Like, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Do you ever have time to watch the other Housewife franchises?
I do watch some of them. So I watched Potomac and I've watched Beverly Hills. I used to watch other ones more, but those 2 I keep up with. But yeah, I want to do a better job trying to keep up with all of them, especially because the Bravo Con, you get to meet everybody.
Right,
and
exactly.
It's like so much fun to know their stories. So especially Miami, I met a couple of the girls from Miami, and I've heard that franchise is really good. So I want to get into that.
Oh, yes. Miami has become like one of my new favorites.
Yes, everyone's saying that.
Yes, but Atlanta is the pioneer of bringing the diversity to the Housewives world. And now, of course, we have Potomac, and you watch Potomac. But that show, when you look at some of the criticisms that franchise receives compared to RHOA, Atlanta, I mean, the most you guys get is just being too shady. Maybe sometimes it's a little too shady, but we don't see the debates around colorism, even storylining, where people might feel like, oh, you're kind of saying this to create a storyline, but hiding the real truth. Why do you think that is? What is the component that brings just maybe a little bit more authenticity to Atlanta compared to some of the other franchises?
So that's a great question. And now that I've been in it for 2 years, what I would say is that the Housewives of Atlanta don't force it. They just let it happen. And I think what happens when you're on a show like that, sometimes you feel like you got to force this, something to happen. And then you end up going down this track that doesn't feel authentic or doesn't feel real. Like, like no one in Atlanta is sitting around talking about what's going to happen next season. Nobody. No one meets up the week before. Like we just show up. And I think that that's why it feels so real, is because the stuff that happens on the show is like, I literally could not believe when I was a part of it that there was like, not even like a loose kind of script. Like, we don't like, there's like, we're not, it's just like, just show up, and there are no do-overs. Like, whatever happened in that scene, whatever you said, so then you learn like, wow, like we're just being, and I'm just responding to whatever happens. And, so I think that's probably, they started like that, and it just kind of has always been like that. Yeah. And I really respect and appreciate that.
Me too. And I think we'll respect it more after watching season 15, because
yes.
It's coming. And you use the show and your platform to represent your brand, Mommi Nation, which I love. I just love saying it. How do you feel about the response to Mommi Nation?
Oh man, the response to Mommi Nation has been incredible. And I cannot wait for the viewers to see this incredible brunch that we host this season on the show. We host our first nonprofit brunch where we're raising money for Mommi Nation Gives, and the girls show up and show out. Miss Kenya, I don't want to give it away, but that for me was one of the highlights of the season, was hosting that brunch. We raised almost $100,000 for homeless moms, and it was just everything. So the response to Mommi Nation has been great. People want to help and support. They're signing up. They're joining our community. They're showing up. So that has been a huge benefit to joining the show.
And what was the inspiration behind creating Mommi Nation?
Oh yes, so I created Mommi Nation 4 years ago. I was a mom for about 6 months when I first had the idea. And ultimately, I felt like when I was my best, when I was on the track and I was thriving, I had great supportive people around me. And so when I became a mom, I was like, where's the tribe? Obviously my mom is a mom. My sister had just become a mom, but we weren't having the same experiences. Like my sister had owned a business, and after becoming a mom, decided she didn't want to work anymore. And I was the opposite. Like I couldn't wait to get back to work. And, you start to feel, even though you're not alone, a little bit alone on the motherhood journey at times. And so I created Mommi Nation to really create community, especially amongst Black mothers, because right when I had my son, then, that's when the George Floyd thing happened, and there was a social uprising, and Black moms are 4 times more likely to die during childbirth. You just learn all of these things that Black moms suffer through. And I was like, I just want to do my part in helping Black moms have the best experience that they can at motherhood and at life. And so that was the inspiration, and it's grown from strength to strength. And, it's just been probably one of the greatest projects I've ever worked on.
I love it. I love seeing you represented on the show as well. It just adds some wholesome positivity when in the between the dark moments. Like, yes. Pay back to Sanya so we can. And how are you looking to grow Mommi Nation? The Mommi Nation movement.
Yes, so we are trying to grow in a couple ways. The main thing is that we really want the blog to be the largest and most reliable resource for Black moms all over the world. So we want to have great contributors to the platform. So we have doctors, leaders, teachers, all kinds of people, adding content to the blog, so that as moms are searching for whatever it is, like my daughter has a rash, and it's like, specific, especially to Black families and Black mothers, they find it on our platform. We obviously want to grow our nonprofit so we can support more moms, all over the world that are in need. And then, we also have like our merchandise part of our business, which is kind of like, we like to say, the voice of the Black mother in the community. And so, people support us by grabbing the merch, and that part of our business has been growing. We have a new woman that's leading it now. And, I used to be out here pressing in my basement and shipping out shirts, and, now I don't have to do that anymore. So it's been really fun to watch all the areas of Mommi Nation grow.
Oh, beautiful. And you'll also be at the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
As a lifestyle fashion reporter, are you excited? And how are you preparing for the gig?
Yes. So this will be my second time hosting in this capacity. And the Kentucky Derby is a vibe. Like, I did not realize that this should have been on my bucket list many years ago. Like, it is an incredible event. It has all the things, of course, the sporting with the horses and the racing, the fashions, the food. It was just really phenomenal. So, I love that I get to talk about something that I also love. I love fashion. I love seeing how people interpret fashion, and we'll see the fascinators and the dresses and the suits and all the things. And I get to speak on that, as well as speak on the competition. And, I make my picks and all that fun stuff too. So it just kind of balances two things I'm really passionate about in a very fun and unique way.
Yeah, that you just made. I've never been to one, but I want to go.
You have to go. I'm
Yes,
telling
it
you.
sounds like a vibe. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I need to get myself to the tree. And so you've accomplished so much, but is there anything you're still hoping to check off your list of goals?
Yes. I mean, it's so funny because I still feel like I'm just getting started. I feel like, track and field has set a beautiful foundation for me, and it's given me a lot of confidence to be able to move forward and do a lot of the things I know that I, have the potential to do. And so I really want to be a serious entrepreneur. I think that there are some business ventures that I feel like I am uniquely prepared to do. And so I'm actually launching a new business at the end of the season that will be available at the end of the year. So I can't wait for everybody to see. I hope that you guys love it and will support it. It's just so on brand for me. It's all about family and Christmas and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that one. Yes. And then I want to do more television. I want to do some more hosting. And, I think that that's kind of my sweet spot. I love commentating for track and field. So I want to figure out how do I use all those things to maybe one day be like Good Morning America or The View or something like that.
You know what I saw when I was watching your post for iFit?
Yeah.
I totally kind of see this traveled lifestyle series.
Yes.
Because when I was watching you in Ireland, it was gorgeous. And I watch travel. I love travel, HGTV. I'm into all of that. And I'm like, wow, I could totally see her kind of like going to different destinations around the world and adding in some kind of fitness component. But yeah, I just saw that. I saw that for you. So I'll speak that into existence for you.
Yes,
and just my last question, because we got to end on some tea. Do you think there's anyone who will receive the most backlash this season?
So I think unfortunately, the person who might have a tough go at it this season might be Courtney. And I think only because I think she was valid and, her points and stuff. But I think that the way that she comes at Kandi in the first, in our first episode, where she is trying to, get this question answered, but I don't know if she was just drank something, or she just seems so worked up. I don't know if the viewers are going to like the way that she does that. So I think she might have a tough go at it, even though I think she's a wonderful woman and a great addition to the cast. I think that, that's going to be tricky for her. So we'll see. Hopefully it plays in her favor.
Hopefully, but it's still good TV.
It's great TV.
Well, thank you so much, Sanya. It was so great talking to you. I'm very excited to see the rest of this season and excited for everything you have coming up for us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
All right. Enjoy your day.
You too.